Hi, so in this video we're going to be talking about how to multiply numbers in standard form. Okay, so in the previous video we talked about how we write numbers in standard form. In this particular video we're going to be talking about multiplying numbers. So a fairly typical question will be something like this. So you might get something like 3 times 10 to the power of 3, and they want us to multiply that by something like 5 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, well there's two elements to this particular question. The first one is the multiplication of the numbers themselves. And then the second bit is the multiplication of the standard form part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate those two all together, and I'm going to say that the first bit of it is this 3 times 5, and I'm going to write it like this, 3 times 5. And then the other bit of it is the standard form element. So I'm going to write that separately as 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, so I'm going to treat the two elements entirely differently because then it just makes my calculation a lot easier to do. Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, and then 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 6, it's using the indices law, and we add these numbers at the top, so we get times 10 to the power of 9. And that would be almost the answer to the question. Very typically with these are 2-mark questions. We have to then convert it into standard form. If you remember from the previous video, we talked about standard form is really important to have this first number to be between 1 and 10. So I need to change that to 1.5. I've moved the decimal point one place in this direction. Okay, so I'm going to have to change that index to 1.5 times 10 to the power of 10. Okay, I hope that's been okay. I'm going to give you one more example just so that very similar sort of questions you tend to get on these kind of exam questions. Okay, so the next one is going to be 7 times 10 to the power of 5, and that's going to be multiplied by 3 times 10 to the power of 8. Okay, well again I'm going to rewrite it in the same way that I did here. I'm going to put the two multiplication elements of it together, and I've got 7 times 3. And then the standard form element of it together, I'm going to put 10 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of 8. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. Okay. And I've got 10 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of 8 is 10 to the power of 13. So that would be written like that. Not good enough to get you full 2 marks. It's usually 1 mark at this particular point. If you want to get 2 marks, you need to write it into standard form exactly the same way as we did there. So that's going to be 2.1. I've moved my decimal place by 1 jump in this direction. So if I move it by 1 jump in this direction, I have to make that 10 to the power of 14, and that will be the answer to that particular question. I hope that's been okay for you. Please do add a comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the next video, which is going to be about division of standard form.